Every story has a beginning. Ours begins with a tragedy. A tragedy that led a devastated father to undertake a lifelong and life-changing mission. A mission that would lead to a discovery, a recognition of a great unmet need, and a desire to find an innovative solution. On Memorial Day 1907, 17-year-old Homer Allen was one of 9 who would die from a streetcar accident in downtown Elyria, Ohio. They said at the time he could have survived had there been adequate medical treatment nearby. His devastated father, Elyria businessman Edgar Allen, would spearhead the building of Elyria Memorial Hospital. As treasurer and volunteer, he walked the halls daily and became friends with Jimmy Bodek, an 8-year-old orphan with polio. Edgar wondered how many other Jimmys were out there. He found hundreds of them in every Ohio county, crippled children like Jimmy who were hidden away, underserved. No prosthetics, no rehabilitation, no education, no future. Allen developed a plan to help, but it would take good people, a lot of them, to make it work. Enter Rotary, a fledgling organization of upstanding businessmen with clubs expanding across the country and throughout Ohio, looking for ways to serve. In September of 1915, the Rotary Club of Toledo made it official. They would make service and support of crippled children their primary cause. And within 3 years, they would change the life of one young man and set an example that would inspire Rotarians around the world to take up the same cause, service to disabled children.
Rotary has been part of the Ability Center since our inception.
In December 1920, Toledo Rotary created the Toledo Society for Crippled Children, whose mission was to build and operate a convalescent home to serve children of Northwest Ohio and their families. Over the next decade, men like Frank Mulholland and Charles Fieldbach would champion the effort, and in the summer of 1931, with part of a $50,000 boost from the estate of Edward Drummond Libby, the Society opened its first hospital, leasing the Old Ladies' Home on the corner of Central and Collingwood. Though functional, that location was never intended as a permanent solution. So Rotarians and the Society continued to raise funds and make plans for a larger, more efficient facility. With the help of more than 1,400 civic leaders and volunteers, this dream was realized in March of 1938 with the opening of what came to be called Opportunity Home on Central Avenue, a rehabilitation center and convalescent home dedicated strictly to serving children with disabilities, the second of its kind in the nation, made possible by understanding people. With 2 classrooms and 2 full-time teachers, this home also provided a teaching component through the Toledo Board of Education for children dealing with the lengthy rehabilitative process associated with polio.
First, I was in the contagious disease hospital for 2 weeks, and then was moved to the Crippled Children's Home for 3 more months.
And remember, we weren't really sick at that point. You're just convalescent. So we could tear around, actually.
With the widespread success of the Salk vaccine in 1955, the population at Opportunity Home began to decline. The Society needed a redefining purpose. By 1963, the facility and grounds were sold off. In 1965, the Society became a kindergarten for children with disabilities, operating out of the Libby Mansion. In its first class was a little boy who would grow up to lead the organization into its 2nd century of service. In 1976, laws changed and children began to be mainstreamed into public schools. The Toledo Society for Crippled Children became the Toledo Society for the Handicapped, serving both children and adults. Soon ground would be broken for a new facility on Monroe Street in Sylvania. In 1989, the Society became the Ability Center of Greater Toledo, a powerful advocate and trendsetter, developing the tools and programs necessary to take the organization and the community it serves undauntedly into a bright and positive future. Today's Ability Center moves into our second century of service by asking, what would it take to make Toledo and Northwest Ohio the most accessible and disability-friendly community in the country? Dedicating our future path to this type of endeavor honors our 100-year history of service to others. It honors the vision and efforts of the men and women who long ago dreamed us into existence and guided us over the decades. Finally, and most importantly, it honors the lives and advocacy of people with disabilities we have supported from the beginning, and whose wisdom we continue to seek, to learn from, and be inspired by as we move forward.